Alright guys, let's talk about a plant that has fascinated me for years. It's not very prevalent around here. Some people use it for ornamental plants. That plant is Yucca. Today we're just going to be using the leaves and we're going to attempt to make a soap substitute. Alright guys, just kind of bring you up to speed about what I'm going to be doing today. In the past, and I haven't done it on video, but I have used the roots of the yucca plant to kind of crush and steep them to make a soap substitute. It is not equivalent of the soap that we're used to today, but it will get the job done. It is different wholly in texture. It is a liquid. I'll save that for another video. I didn't use many roots when I tried that before because basically I was trying to keep the plants alive. Yucca is not around here naturally. It is brought in by folks that use them for ornamental plants. That's the only way I know that they're here. They may be here naturally some other way. I don't think so, but it could be. Anyway, I was reading an article on primitive cordage about 6 or 7 days ago, and the author mentioned that a byproduct of using the leaves of the yucca plant, like I have here, that in the process of making the cordage, you pulverize it to get rid of the material between the fibers. There are long fibers, if you're not familiar with the yucca leaf. There are long fibers in here that you can use to do like a reverse wrap cordage. I'm not going to hit that up today, but maybe at some point. There's plenty of videos out there on YouTube showing how. But anyway, he mentioned that the byproduct of pounding the pulp out of there is that you can actually use that pulp like the roots of the yucca plant, steep it in water, and it will turn into what he called a shampoo substitute. Well, I read that. I got to try it. There's not enough yucca plants around here that I feel comfortable with, ripping the plant out and harvesting all the roots and making a suitable soap substitute. I'm hoping, I don't really know what I'm hoping for. Success, I guess. Anyway, so here we go. What we're going to be doing, I'm going to take my bush pot, I'm going to steep it over just a little bit of a fire. I don't want to get it boiling or even really that hot, just warm, just to kind of help the pulp mix in with the water, and let it steep for a few hours, and I guess we'll see what we'll get. Here we go. Alright guys, the idea is just to beat the pulp out of this stuff. And I think that's where the pommel on the Schrade SCHF42 is going to come in handy. Kind of fizzles as you put it in there. Try to get more material in there so you can see it better. One downside to this, using this pommel on this knife, is I'm losing probably 30% of the fibers in this yucca leaf. It's got fuzzes when you put it in there, or fizzles. It's interesting. Alright gang, well, this is what we've done. That's about, I would say, 18 of these leaves. That there is simmering. As you can see, there's actually suds on the top, which is pretty cool. I'm going to go ahead and put the lid on this bush pot here, let it steep for probably 30 or 45 minutes, and I'll bring it back and we'll see what we have. Alright guys, this is what we're left with. Get my stirring stick over here. And one thing I've noticed, I've stirred this 3 times in the last 25 or 30 minutes. You have, because the pommel of that knife ripped out some of the fibers. My wife uses one of those shower sponges, whatever they're called. I don't know, those floofy, spongy kind of net things that a lot of women use in the shower. Those fibers kind of create that. I don't know if that's going to be beneficial or not. Now, notice how easily this suds. I mean, I'm pretty impressed so far. I didn't have a lot of high hopes for this, given this was just off of a random comment. This is actually sudsing more. I mean, I realize it's not sudsing much, but it's sudsing more than the root mixtures I've done. Now, granted, in the past, I just took a few roots just simply because I didn't want to kill the plant. So, anyway, I've already kind of felt this. It is slick. I wouldn't say like dishwasher detergent slick, or, you know, like Dawn or whatever slick, but it's still pretty slick. As you can see, and it may just be the water, but I mean, it is cleaning the grime off my hands a little bit. As you can see, dirt pulling up, and you know, I can't, you know, I haven't tried this with water, with what I have in my hands, so I can't say if this is any better or not, but there is a definite slick feel to this. Actually smells pretty good, kind of, I don't know, almost like you just cut the grass. It's pretty cool. I haven't really made up my mind as far as a test, you know, that would translate to a camera, because, you know, I can grab this and stick my hand in here all day long and say, oh, that feels slick. It feels almost kind of soapy, but, you know, that's not going to translate to camera. So let me get my hands dried off, rearrange, and I have an idea of what I could possibly do that might translate through. So hang on. All right. Here we've got my bush pot. As you can see, it's just got score marks, soot marks, stuff like that. And the bottom of this, because I've been using this, it's wet, and I set it down on the leaves. I don't know how well this is going to translate. I'm just, like I said, I'm kind of flying by the seat of my pants, trying to figure out some way to make this translate into camera. Because I really do think this is a valid idea. Because this leaves a film. When you get your hands in it, it makes your skin squeaky, and it does clean it off. But, you know, at the same point in time, with the amount of dirt that I had on my hands, warm water like this may very well do the same thing. Let me get this out of the way. Let me come around here. Well, that green water's already made its way around there. Pay attention. You can see bubbles form. They pop pretty quick, but you see bubbles form doing this. I'm kind of digging this squeegee idea, or whatever this thing is called. Not really a squeegee, a floofy or something like that, my girls call it. It's not really abrasive, but at the same point in time, it does provide enough of a pseudo grit, I guess, to kind of bring off material stuck to a pot, or, you know, whatever. This is pretty cool. Well, it looks and feels cleaner to me. And I will say, in between the last shots, I didn't dry my hands. I just let it air dry. I mean, I didn't wipe them dry. I just let them air dry. And it left a sticky film. So, I don't know. Anyway, guys, there's no real way to make this translate through camera. But I'd say it's not what you'd expect from modern day soap, but it works pretty well. I could see this working as a shampoo, or a, you know, worst case scenario type soap. So it smells pretty good to boot. So it's kind of like you just cut the grass. Alright guys, well that was an attempt to make a soap-like product out of the pulp from Yucca Leafs, and actually I would say it was a pretty good success in my opinion. Just a couple quick thoughts or observations. Here it is the next day. I ran out of light last night to finish this up, but my hands were soaked in that Yucca soap or whatnot several times, and even after rinsing them off, drying them off, taking a shower last night, washing my hands, I don't know, I didn't count, but several times, I still feel like I've lotioned my hands. That's soft and supple, I guess. Anyway, I think that is due to it is my understanding that what we know is Yucca and the different variations thereof that is related in some way or in the same family as aloe vera. I think the oils are somewhat similar or whatnot. I don't really know. Now, at the beginning of this project, I said what I had read, it could be a shampoo substitute. You know, honestly, I'm not sure if I'd want to put that in my hair. Well, if I hadn't hair, and my girls didn't really want to volunteer to try it out, which I don't blame them. It did suds up a decent amount. It did appear to clean the lid of that pot pretty good. It was nice and squeaky afterwards. It rinsed off nice and clean. So I would definitely say this is valid. It is obviously not a direct substitute from modern day soap, from what we're used to, a lye-based soap. But it's still, you know, out in nature, it works, in my opinion. I do have a couple ideas to kind of bring this closer to what we're used to as far as modern day soap. But, you know, that's a project for another day. But until then, guys, thanks for joining me. I really appreciate it, and I will see you next time.